What's up, YouTube? It's New Never You here with another episode of the new series. So, I watched my video yesterday after posting it, and I saw how many I said, and I'm going to try to avoid doing that today because it was a lot and it was quite annoying for me, so I'm pretty sure it was annoying for you. So, today I want to talk about relationships, friendships, there we go, with the compassion relationships, the love relationships. I believe all of it kind of coincides with each other. If you're in a loving relationship, as far as boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife type deal, you should probably start off with a friendship. I think nowadays it's more so of that instant gratification where people want to feel loved and wanted and feel important or feel as though they're worth something in the world. So people just jump into relationships with the first person that's decent to them. And I'm seeing it destroy people's hearts, people's spirits, people's love lives because so many people are just jumping into relationships for instant gratification. Um, just to sleep with somebody, just to feel wanted. And it just seems like a lot of people don't love themselves anymore. They want somebody else to fill that void for them, that void of maybe a parent not being there, or they've been cheated on X amount of times and they just want somebody to want them for them. And then you have a lot of people that suppress who they are for the sake of the relationship or the friendship or whatever. And you can't do that. I mean, you can, but eventually it's gonna break you to the point where you don't want to be around that person, you don't want to talk to that person, you don't want to have conversations with that person, and you're going to feel very drained and just dead inside. And it'll get to the point where you love that person, but you'd rather be by yourself, you'd rather be alone. And a lot of key points to relationships is that the communication has to be there. Also, the want to stay, because you can love somebody, but that doesn't mean you're supposed to be with them. You can love somebody, and it doesn't mean it's going to work out. I mean, we have to be realistic about the situation. The world isn't designed anymore for relationships to thrive, for relationships to make it. It's more so designed on you to get yours, and if the other person doesn't get theirs, then oh well. People just don't know how to be friends anymore. People don't know how to talk to each other anymore. People don't know how to express themselves anymore. Too many people are on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all this other stuff trying to be cool, trying to fake a relationship, a friendship, trying to fake who they are, because deep inside they're hurting and they just want to be loved. But faking things does not draw people closer to you. You may think it does, but ultimately you're hurting yourself, because if you know you're faking, you have to know at some point the people that come in contact with you are going to figure it out. If they haven't already figured it out, if they're not doing the same thing you're doing because they feel the same way you feel, it sucks. It really does to go your whole life faking who you are because you want to be in a relationship. You got to start being true to yourself. Start being true to how you feel. Start being true to your weaknesses and your faults. And if the people that you love can't accept that, then that's not really your problem. You can't make anybody love you. You can't make anybody do anything. Now, I know sometimes it's sad and depressing and you feel hopeless because you want to be with somebody. You want somebody to care. And for those people that have been just decimated by relationships, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your pain. I'm sorry for your heartbreak, your depressive moments. I'm sorry for all of that. And I don't want you to feel like that's like not worth it, because pain brings out a lot of things, but pain also strengthens. Pain's kind of like fire. You go through the fire and it kind of molds you to be stronger, molds you to keep going, molds you to stay motivated. Now, I can't say that relationships are easy, because anything where you have to care about or care for another person is difficult. The hardest thing you'll probably have to do in a relationship is accept somebody for who they are and not for who you want them to be. People can change, but if you try to change them into the person you want them to be, you're going to be miserable and they're going to be miserable. Deep down inside, we all want companionship. We all want compassion. We all want love. We all want that. Even the people that say they don't, a lot of that don't want is stemming from pain, if not selfishness. So you have to accept people. People don't always make the best decisions. You don't always make the best decisions. And that's something we all have to learn. We all have to get to the point where you may not have done what another person did, but there's something you did that a other person wouldn't do. So don't be so hard on people. Don't be so hard on people to the point where nobody wants to be around you because they think you're just like this critic, this evil, just maniacal critic. You don't care about anybody. Your opinion is the only one that matters because you're the one that's going to end up alone. You're the one that's going to be by yourself. Not them, you. And you'll be sitting around one day wondering, how did all this happen? Why am I alone? And you don't want that. So if there Is anybody out there in a relationship and you want the relationship to work? Start being honest. Tell the other person what you need, what you want. Listen to what they want. Listen to what they need. And start working it out. Because it's going to take a lot of work, especially nowadays. And with this virus, you can expect the divorce rate to shoot up as soon as we go back to civilization. Just think about it. I work at a retail shop. I'm not going to say which one because I don't want to get fired or whatever. But we sell video games and such. And right before the quarantine and everything happened, all these people came in and were buying these video game consoles and video games for their kids. And they were like, oh yeah, my kid's gonna be out of school for 2 weeks. And all I heard was, I don't want to be bothered. Because if you can't sit and communicate with your kids for 2 weeks, you got a bigger problem. And now it's been longer than 2 weeks. It's definitely been longer than 2 weeks. So you got all these people alienating their kids from themselves. So with these people having to be quarantined for 3 to 5 months with their husband or with their wife, forced to sit and talk and have conversation and learn new things about each other, there's going to be points where they don't want to be around each other and they say things that they probably shouldn't say, but it's how they feel. And the divorce rate is just going to skyrocket because all these people thought they cared about each other, but they just cared about the concept of one another, the concept of loving someone, the concept of having a family. All these things take work. All these things take preparation. All these things take compassion, take care, take patience, faith. And you just don't have a lot of that anymore. All it is now is just go to work, come home, do what you want to do, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, come home, do what you want to do, go to sleep. And you repeat that. A relationship is two people being two different individuals loving each other. You're not supposed to be the same person. Be yourselves. Make time for yourself. Make time for each other. Because when there's no balance, that's when the scales start to tip. And when the scales start to tip, you start to get frustrated. You start to wonder, why the crap am I in this relationship? You start to wonder, all these things would eventually bleed out, cause arguments, cause confrontation, cause all these things that you don't want, but now you have to deal with because you didn't know how to deal with what you wanted, or at least the concept of what you wanted. So if you're in a relationship and you want to stay in it, work it out. Figure it out. Talk it out. Do what you got to do. Work it out. Stop playing. It's 2020. Stop playing. And if you're not in a relationship and you're thinking that your life's going to be more fulfilled if you get into a relationship, that's not necessarily true. Remember, you have to learn this other person. This other person has to learn you. Before you go and invest yourself in another person's life, or another person invests in your life, ask yourself, am I ready to not be selfish? Am I ready to give up what I want to do for the sake of somebody else sometimes? Am I ready to listen and care about how somebody else feels. And if you're not, don't do it. Do not do it. Because people have feelings. People have hearts. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a loser. Don't do it. And for all the people that think just getting into a relationship for sex, sex is not life-changing. It's just sex. It's not, you're not going to be a superhuman afterwards. You're not going to feel like you can conquer the world afterwards. You have to treat people like people, especially if you're in a relationship. So just be considerate. Think about everything that you do before you do it, because everything you do has a consequence. Whether good or bad, it has a consequence. So think about it. But y'all be safe out there, man. It's insane. Just be careful. And just be honest. Just care for each other. Show love for each other. Whether this stuff happens around us or not, we as the human race have to be there for each other, because if we aren't, then the people that want to run the world and do all these evil things and kill people just for capital gain, they're going to win. And I don't think we were just born to sit here and let people govern us like that and treat us like trash. Because you're not trash. You're kings and queens, princes and princesses, royalty. Stop playing. But y'all be safe, like I said. Keep your head up and don't let anything defeat you. You are overcomers. You are built for this. Even when you think you're not. You're going to make it, and you're going to be victorious. If you feel like you're not, just tell yourself that you are a conqueror, you are victorious, and you will make it. And if you're a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, such as I am, say that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Because if God is for you, nobody, Keith Sweat, nobody can be against you. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Stop playing. Y'all have a great and glorious day. New Never You.